Calling all masters. Hey guys, it's Thorn Gaming, and this is going to be my farming tip guide for Saber Wars. I did do a overview of Saber Wars earlier, but this is a bit easier to go through since it is in-game, not that this event has started. I hope everyone's having a good time with farming Saber Wars so far, but here's some general tips on farming in Saber Wars. Now the first thing I want to take note of is all of the bonuses that all the Saber class servants will have and Mysterious Heron X will have. In the chart here you can see Mysterious Heron X and Altria Pendragon Lily will have a plus 100% attack boost and a plus 50% Altrium boost, and then so on and so forth with the rest of the servants on this list. So that's something to keep in mind with your party composition. And the main thing that will help you farm this event are the two 5-star craft essences, Purely Bloom and Star of Altria. With Purely Bloom, for if it's equipped to a servant, it'll increase their attack by 100%. If it's max limit broken, that'll be 200%. You'll find these in the shop for 150 of a currency. You have to buy 2 of them with vacuum tubes, and I'll go over how to farm those currencies efficiently later. And we have the Star of Altrias, and these don't have to be equipped to a specific servant. It doesn't matter where they're equipped to, you can put them in the back, but they'll increase everyone's attack by 50%. And 100% if max limit broken. You'll get 6 of these naturally through the event if you're Altrium point farming, so you'll be able to max limit break 1 and still have 1 left over. But anyway, let's get started with transistors. Alright, and with transistor farming, the node you're going to want to do is the 40 AP ruler node that features Jean d'Arc at the very end. Always keep in mind you'll be able to increase your transistor drops with the True Shot craft essence. It'll increase your transistor drop by +1 for every instance of a transistor drop, +2 if it's max limit broken. So make sure to equip those if you want more transistors. And the main tips for Jean, I'll pull up a graphic right now. The first 2 waves consist of assassin type characters, so it's really useful to have a caster equipped with Purely Bloom or with a kaleidoscope if you're just going to clear through the entire wave. Caster Liz is a big one if you have that, because her Noble Phantasm is AoE. Those assassins aren't really too strong, but the main thing is Jean at the very end. She has 200k health and she's ruler class, so she's going to resist about every class except for Berserker. So if you have a single target Berserker Noble Phantasm, like Vlad, like Lubu, something like that, that's really going to help you with defeating Jean here. And also MHX, her overcharge skill on her Noble Phantasm will do extra damage against saber-faced enemies, and Jean counts as one of those. So I have a max limit broken Purely Bloom equipped on her, mostly because my Vlad's pretty weak at level 60. I haven't been tending to him too much. But yeah, MHX and a single target Noble Phantasm on a Berserker will really help a lot with Jean. And that's how you're going to be farming transistors. Okay, and second we have lenses. For lenses, you're going to be wanting to do the 40 AP Archer node that has Tesla at the very end. I'll pull up the graphic right now. The first 2 waves consist of a lot of Rider typed enemies, so having MHX is really going to help a lot. But as for Tesla himself, what I do is use Skahawk and her Noble Phantasm because it's very strong. I put the max limit broken Purely Bloom on her, and it does enough damage to one-shot Tesla with the Noble Phantasm. Mine's level 80. If you're borrowing Skahawk, which I recommend you do, it'll probably just one-shot him straight up. Make sure that Skahawk does have a Purely Bloom, and if you have Stars of Altria, make sure to equip those in your sub-party. And as always, when you're farming lenses, Migato Bride training will really help a lot with farming those. It works like True Shot. It'll be +1 to every instance of lens, +2 if it's max limit broken. Okay, and for tubes, we have the Galaxy node, 40 AP cost, notified by the Lancer icon here, and it features Skahawk at the very end. Now, for my party, I have a max level Okita. I really do recommend that you have a single target Saber Noble Phantasm, because that would really help against Skahawk. Now the first 2 waves in the Skahawk node have a lot of Saber enemies. One thing that'll really help is MHX, because her third skill, Galaxy Meteor Sword, will cause her to do extra damage against Sabers, and as an assassin, she'll also do a lot of damage against that 200k Rider enemy there as well. But you really want to open into that last wave with Skahawk with your Noble Phantasms ready to go. Okita really helps, Salsa really helps, any Saber class really helps obviously, but Okita especially because of her single target Noble Phantasm. Right, and for farming tubes, the craft essence that will increase the amount you get is going to be the Crimson Land of Shadows. This isn't as important if you need to have like more Stars Victoria equipped, because +1 isn't going to mean much in the long run, especially with the amount of tubes that the Skahawk node drops. As you can see here in this chart, there's drops of 2, drops of 6s, and a drop of 12. So it's not as important here, because you're really going to want these Purely Blooms and Stars Victoria to make it a lot easier for you. If you're having trouble with the Skahawk node when you're trying to farm for those tubes to buy those 2 Purely Blooms in the shop, you could also try doing this Rider node that's 40 AP as well. It's against Drake. It shouldn't be too difficult, especially if you have an assassin to deal with Drake there, as she's the biggest threat really. Everything else is pretty simple to do. So if you can't do Skahawk for tubes, and you need to buy those blooms still with the tubes, go ahead and do Drake until you get those blooms, and it should be a lot easier to do Skahawk. And last but certainly not least, if you're farming Ultrium points, the best thing to do is going to be this 40 AP assassin with the Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z at the very end with 1 million health. Now, this was difficult for me. The first time I did it, I had to use my 3 command seals. What really helps is having a good caster, as Mysterious Heroine Z is an assassin. With Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z, the first 2 waves are going to have a lot of Lancer type enemies, so having Sabers at the ready is really good for clearing those. But you want to open into that last wave with Noble Phantasms ready, because if Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z activates Galaxy Meteor Sword that does extra damage against Sabers, you're not going to have a good time with your Saber party. Now, MHX will do extra damage or overcharge ability on a Noble Phantasm, because Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z is a Saber-faced enemy, so that'll do a good chunk. I have to borrow Waiver for this fight because I don't have one, and his defense, attack, and Noble Phantasm charging capabilities are really useful for this fight. And I've also been using Mush, and I haven't had a chance to use Media, but of course Stars of Altria and Purely Blooms are really going to help you here. This isn't really easy to farm if your servants aren't high level, but if you can manage to do this, this is the best way to get your Ultrium points. And remember to watch out for Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z's delayed stun effect. When she uses it, she'll attack, and then after you attack her, there's a chance that all your servants will be stunned. Some of your servants might resist it, but it's really a pain if everyone gets stunned. You don't want to get hit by that. But remember, you shouldn't be too worried about Ultrium points right now. We're only a few days into the event. It lasts 2 weeks, and the best source of Ultrium points is going to be these challenge quests going to be unlocking every day until the end of the event. And remember, the goal is 1 million Ultrium points. If you want your MP5 Saber Lily, that'll get you all 5 copies. If you actually start playing this game at launch, you already have a Saber Lily, so your actual goal is going to be 700k. And if you hit 1 million, you'll just have a Rare Prism to make use of whenever there's something in the Rare Prism shop. But if you're having an easy time farming the points, the absolute maximum goal is going to be 2 million Ultrium points, where you get the Crystallized Lore, and that's a material you can't get enough of. That'll increase one of your servant skills from 9 to 10. So if you can comfortably farm that last node with Ultra Mysterious Heroine Z, go ahead and do that for points. And if you can't, you can always do Skahawk, and just keep praying for those Purely Bloom and Star Victoria drops. That'll really help you out to build your team against Mysterious Heroine Z, and see if you can defeat her more easily then with more stars and Purely Blooms. But that's going to be my farming tips for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it informative. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a like, sub to my channel if you enjoy my content, and follow me on Twitter. I'll be doing more Saber Wars videos in the future. I'm doing a read-through of all the main event quests in Saber Wars. I already have episode 1 out already, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. But anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm Lauren Gaming and I'm signing out.